Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So these are the materials that we are going to be needing. I'll be using these two fabrics, my ruler, my curve, my scissors and my tape, and also my chalks to mark out the lines. So this is the main fabric that we'll be using for the dress, and then we'll be using the orange for the side flare and the band. Now I'm going to fold my fabric into two and then measure out the length of my flare. I'm going to be putting the measurements that I use somewhere around this video. Now we are making a 180 degrees flare, so I'm going to be folding my fabric into a cone, and then from there I'll be taking my waist circumference measurements. The waist circumference measurements I'm using is 11 inches, so I'm going to be taking it round. After taking it round, I will mark out the lines. After marking out the lines, I will take the original length of my skirt. You can see where I'm placing my tape from the tip of the cone. That is where I'm placing my tape, and then I'm going to measure out my skirt length. Now you know that Ankara fabric is short, so that's 53 inches that I am marking is not going to get to everywhere. What you will do is to just mark it like that, then later you're going to join the flare and complete it. So now I'm connecting the lines that I made. After connecting, I will be cutting them out. After cutting it out, I'm going to be joining it with the remaining fabric. See what I'm doing? I'm joining it half inch inwards. Then after that, you have enough allowance to join. Then you pin it. After pinning it, you're going to flip it to the other side so that you will see what you're cutting, so that you follow the shape of the flame. Can you see what I'm doing? I'm cutting it out now. After cutting it out, make sure you notch that place that the joining started from, so that you'll be able to know where you will join your flare from. Then as you can see, I'm pinning them together. After pinning, this is how you're going to sew it. Just watch what I'm doing. So this is what it looks like. Now this is the front part of the skirt and this is the back part, which means here is going to be the side. Then you notch it because this is where our flare is going to start from. So I'm folding my fabric into two. We are also going to be cutting another 180-degree flare, so I'll fold my fabric and then I'm going to take the measurements from the tip of the cone. Now I'm going to be marking 11 inches for the circumference. Then I will go down from that 11 inches that I marked and mark another 11 inches. That is going to be the length of our flare. Now I'm going to connect the lines and cut. Then I will notch the center for easy identification. Now I'll open up the fabric that I just cut something from. I'm going to be placing the flare I cut on top of it, so that we are not going to be wasting too much fabric cutting flare. Just watch what I'm doing. Now let's move over to the band of the skirt. The length of my band is going to be 2 inches, but I'll be marking out 2.5 inches. That half inch is going to be for sewing allowance. Now we are going over to the top, and I've cut out this fabric for the top. The measurement is 15 inches. I used my bust measurement divided by 4 plus 5 inches. So I'm going to be marking out the starting line. Then I'll measure my nipple to nipple plus half inch, which is 4.5. You know what we are making is an off shoulder dress, so I'm going to be removing 6 inches from my shoulder. So I'm going to be placing the 6 inches and mark out my bust points. My bust point is 10.5 and my under bust is 14 inches. I'm going to draw out the lines. Now I'm marking out my top length. My top length is going to stop at my waistline. So my waist shoulder to waistline is 17 inches, and that is where my top length is going to be stopping. I added 1 inch for sewing allowance. Now we're going to be doing the contour, and I'm going to mark out 1 inch on both sides on my under bust line. Now I'm going to be marking the same 1 inch on both sides on my chest line. Then on my bust line, I'm going to be coming up by half inch and also go down by half inch. This is to avoid pointiness on the bustier. Now I'm going to be using my ruler to connect the 1 inch to my bust point, to that half inch I marked on my bust point, and I'll also do the same thing on the other side. Now I'm going to be using my curved ruler to connect from that half inch I marked under my bust point to the 1 inch I marked on my under bust. I will do the same thing to the other side. Now I'm going to connect that 1 inch on my under bust down to my waistline. So now we are going to be applying the measurements. So on the chest line, my chest line divided by 4 plus 2 inches sewing allowance. I am not going to be adding back that 2 inches that I removed, because I'm going to be using it as my chest tightening so that my chest area will not gape. On my bust line, I am going to be applying my bust measurement divided by 4 plus 2 inches allowance. Now on my waistline, I'm going to be applying my waist measurement divided by 4 plus 2 inches allowance plus another 2 inches again that we removed while contouring. So I'm going to connect the lines and cut. First, I'm going to cut off that starting line because I won't be needing it. So right now I am cutting my dart area. Right now I'm coming down by 8 inches because I want to create room for my armhole to sit very well. You know, this is a tube dress. On my chest line, I'll make a little bit of curve and connect it down to that 8 inches and then cut it off. Now we are going over to the back, and first of all I am going to draw out my starting line, and you know that I came down by 8 inches for my armhole. So because this is a tube dress, we are going to be starting placing our 8 inches on the chest line, so that is where our back is starting from. Now from that 8 inches I'm going to mark out my measurements, which is the shoulder to bust point and my waistline. Those are the only two vertical measurements we are going to be marking on the back. After that, I am going to be marking out 2 inches from the center back for my zip allowance. Now I am going to be drawing out the lines. Next, I'll be marking my nipple to nipple measurement, which is 4 inches plus half inch, which is 4.5. Right here, I'm taking out half inch on my waistline on both sides for my darts. Next, I'm going to be using my ruler to connect the dots. I'm also going to connect it down to my top length. Now I'm marking out my body measurements. And I'm cutting it off. I'm also cutting out the starting line because of the salvage. I won't be needing that part. Now I'll go ahead to cut off my darts. Now I'm notching the upper part so that I will not be confused. I'll be able to know where the upper part is, because this pattern is really confusing. I'm also notching the zip allowance, and I'm going to open up the zip allowance. So now we are cutting the strap for the top. The strap for the top, I'm going to be using 1.5 inches, but I'll be adding half inch for allowance, which is going to be 2 inches. Now I'm getting the length of my strap. How I got the length of my strap is, we took out 6 inches for the off shoulder. We took out 6 inches from the shoulder measurement in front. So now at the back, we took out 8 inches because our armhole started from 8 inches. Now 6 plus 8 is 14, and then I added 1 inch for sewing allowance, which is 15. So guys, that's the end of this video. I'm going to be uploading the sewing video next, so please do well to subscribe and turn on your notification bell so that you'll be able to see the next video when I upload it. Please like and comment. See you in my next video. Bye.